What is up, everybody? Shauna D Man here. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys are having yourselves a great week so far. We are back with a little fun episode. The other week, Variety dropped basically their ranking of all the MCU projects, the movies and the TV shows. And well, some of it you can agree with. Definitely a lot of it you can disagree with. We are going to sit back and we're going to just quickly go through this article just to give my opinions about it. And I may do my own video where I rank the MCU films. I think I did it with the shows a couple of months back, but I haven't done it with the movies. So that might be something we do in our free time. So let's jump into it. But before we do, if you are new to the channel, be sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Be sure you comment below. Tell me what you guys think. But other than that, let's jump into this Variety article. So this was on, when was this published? August 1st. So at the beginning of, wow, really? Was this at the beginning of the month? Huh. I didn't think it was that. I thought it was like a lot. I thought it was, recently, but I guess not. All right. So anyway, so since 2008, so 37 films, 15 streaming services, and 2 TV specials, all knitted together within the. All right, so the first one they got is Secret Invasion. I could probably agree with that. I could probably agree with Secret Invasion being dead last. You killed off Maria Hill. You give us Super Scroll, but he's not a villain of the Fantastic Four. He's a villain of Gaia who now has all the powers of every MCU character that was in existence. Probably not going to see that character again. So yeah, definitely 54 seems reasonable. 53, Thor: The Dark World. The Thor: The Dark World was like Thor's movie. Chris Hemsworth Thor's movies have not really been good, except for Ragnarok and maybe the first Thor. 53. I think there are probably like worse projects than Thor: The Dark World. I'm trying to think if there was any projects that I did. Like, I think She-Hulk would probably be dead last for me, to be quite honest. But 53, that seems interesting. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Yeah, you introduce Kang as the new big bad of the MCU, and didn't go. I mean, obviously, now it's a mistake. It was Jonathan Majors no longer, being a part of the franchise and everything. 52. Dang it. Anything worse? Some of the TV shows, some of the streaming series are not that great. That I would put maybe below Quantumania. But 52, interesting. See, Moon Knight at 51 is actually really, really low for me. I thought Moon Knight was a pretty good series, a pretty decent introduction to the Moon Knight character, even though it's not quite the same as what you saw in the comics. I think in the comics, most people best describe him as like the Bruce Wayne of the MCU, perhaps. But I like Moon Knight. I thought it was fun. Oscar Isaac having to play at least 3 different characters was very fun. Conchu was very cool. This is very low for my taste. So at 50, you got Love and Thunder. I would probably put Love and Thunder. I would put Thor: The Dark World above Love and Thunder. I hated Thor: Love and Thunder. That movie was so stupid. The running gags, the stupid goats, and then not only that, you also had Like, there's a scene where like they go and visit the other gods, and Zeus has Thor chained up, and he like flicks off the disguise, but it like flicks off him, makes him completely naked. And I was just like, this is stupid. Why did you do this? And I think it turned off a lot of people. Like, Thor Ragnarok was probably a good version of Thor that a lot of people were on board with. But then Taika Waititi took it a little bit too far, and we got Love and Thunder. And then you kind of like didn't have Christian Bale. I mean, like, he was underused in that movie. So I will probably put this towards the bottom alongside Secret Invasion. The Incredible Hulk, I like the Incredible Hulk, probably a little bit low in my opinion. Um, but I like it. I like the Incredible Hulk. But a little bit low. 49 seems low to me. Like, the Incredible Hulk is probably better than some of the MCU films. Iron Man 2, again, a little low for me. Could be higher. I love the Iron Man franchise. I know a lot of people give like Iron Man 2 and 3 a little bit of hate, but I enjoy them. Iron Man's like one of my favorite characters. Um, so, but I like it. I mean, so 48, it's low, very low for me. I feel like a lot of these are going to be low because, again, there's like several probably movies and series that I would probably like push towards the end because I just didn't like them as much. See, Echo, I actually liked Echo, but Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk, Moon Knight, like those films, Incredible Hulk, Moon Knight, Iron Man 2, I would say are better than Echo. I would most definitely would say are better than Echo. I did love the character. I loved the little Native American representation that they did. I thought that was cool. Um, but I don't. It's not better than Moon Knight, Iron Man 2, Incredible Hulk. Eternals, a movie that was just convoluted with too many characters. Um, I will say it maybe. I don't know. I think it got fairly criticized. I think it got fairly criticized. I think, like, for me, did I like the movie? I like some of the aspects of it, but again, I think for me, a lot of it was just too many characters. Um, so, and now we're probably not going to get any kind of resolution compared to what we got at the end with the celestial. What's his name? Almerith. You know, capturing some of the other Eternals, and then like the guy who played, I think is it Kringo, the actor that played him, talked about how he was signed on for like 6 Marvel movies and a video game or something like that. So I don't know what to make of that. I honestly don't. But Eternals, I think this is 46. I will still put Iron Man 2, Moon Knight, Incredible Hulk above Eternals though. So Captain America, Brave New World. I think this is fairly. I think this is fair. I think where it sits is pretty fair in my opinion. I the marketing, like, I think the marketing wasn't that great for this movie. It didn't make sense to have like Red Hulk and the leader as a villain for Captain America. I think you could have done it with the Serpent Society. I think that would have been relatively better than what they did. Um, like I was never a huge Anthony Mackie Falcon or Sam Wilson as Captain America. I was never really a huge fan of that. Like, Captain America is always going to be Steve Rogers for me, and I know Sam is Captain America in the comics, and then I know Bucky is Captain America in the comics as well. I actually would have preferred Bucky because that makes a lot more sense to me. But a lot of people, that's a separate video. That's a separate video. But I think 45, that's fair. Falcon and Winter Soldier, I think, again, I still think Moon Knight, well, Incredible Hulk and Iron Man 2 are better than Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think I would put Moon Knight and Falcon and Winter Soldier on equal footing. I There was just too much racial undertone in this movie for me because I was just like, what are we doing with this? And because there's like that whole like Sam and Bucky go and visit Isaiah Bradley, and like they get done talking to him, and like these cops show up, and it's kind of like, oh, they're gonna arrest the black guy, and they're actually here for the white. It was just like so stupid, so stupid. What if? I think this is fine where it's at 43. I only watched season one of What If. I never watched the other two seasons, but I do know they just overdid it with the Captain Carter stuff. Like, good God, did they overdo it with Captain Carter? I think this is fine. I think this is finally ranked. Age of Ultron should be higher. This should be higher. This is a fun film. I don't understand people's hate of Age of Ultron. I think James Spader as Ultron is fine. I think he's supposed to come back in Vision Quest. We get the introduction of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. Um, they're kind of like our first introduction to mutants, even though they call them miracles in the MCU. But our first like introduction to mutants in the MCU. This should be higher. This definitely should be higher. Werewolf by Midnight. I loved Werewolf by Midnight. I thought this was this. I thought Marvel should do more projects like this. Now they kind of did and they kind of are because they also did the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, and then they're doing a Punisher special. I think it's what they're doing as well. But I love this. I think this came out like during Halloween too, or like at least the month of October. And I thought this was a fun little video. You got your Creature Fest, throwback to black and white horror movies, and it was just like so cool. I loved it. Thor. I think Thor's fine. I think this is fine where it's ranked. I think it's fine. Out of the three, out of the Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man trilogies, it's at least the first three films for these characters. Uh, Thor is the weakest compared to Iron Man and then Captain America, the first Avenger. I think this is probably fairly ranked. She Hulk should be like a little bit more in the maybe lower 40s, higher 50s, because She-Hulk was the only episode of She-Hulk I liked was Daredevil. That was really the only episode I liked, and there were some aspects of the show I liked, and there was others. I think she's been announced for Secret Wars. I could be wrong about that. Um, I think a lot of it was just kind of like how, oh, just because I'm a woman, I have it 10 times harder than you. But she's talking to the Hulk, where in the first Avengers movie, he talked about Bruce Banner talks about trying to like off himself, but the Hulk spits up the bullet, and so it's just kind of like, what do you like? How you can't compare being catcalled with wanting to off yourself to get rid of your inner demon and things like that. It's just kind of like it was so stupid. This should be more towards the bottom of the list. Ant-Man and the Wasp, fine with it. I love Ghost in this movie. I don't like her in well, she's still fine in Thunderbolts, but I I I prefer the costume in Ant-Man and the Wasp compared to Thunderbolts. Um, I think this is fair. You probably could make the argument that it could be a little bit higher, and I wouldn't push back. But I think this is fair. Like a top 40 MCU film, yeah. Fantastic Four. I did a review for this, a month or so ago when it came out. I thought it was fine. Galactus, I like Galactus. Not a huge fan of Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. I thought Johnny Storm was fine. Could have done more with him. Uh, Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, I actually liked. And then the Thing, I actually liked him as well. Like it was a still it was like an average film, but a small step in the right direction. When it comes to what the MCU has been the past 4 to 5 years. So I think 37. When I do my ranking, I'll have to really like think about it, but I think 37 should be fine. Black Widow, a movie that should have came out at the height of the MCU, like after Civil War, just before Infinity War, because having a movie like this come out after she's basically died, where fans have already watched the movie, have already watched Infinity War, and she's already dead, and having to watch this movie is just kind of it just muddles the death. It's just kind of like, what are we doing? This is a movie that should have came out at the height of the MCU, but whatever, whatever. Iron Man 3. Uh, I would probably say Iron Man 3 is probably like a top 30 MCU film. I could probably say that. It's a fun movie. Like I enjoy it. It's a very fun movie, and like it was interesting. It was interesting is because Ironheart talks about how if Tony Stark didn't have like all his millions of dollars, basically like he couldn't do the stuff he could. And in Iron Man 3, we see him go to a regular supermarket or hardware store and buy everyday supplies to make himself weapons to use against the Mandarin soldiers. So Captain Marvel, I understand why Brie Larson gets a lot of hate when this movie first came out. I think she's fine as Captain Marvel. I thought she was fine in the Marvels. Um, it made $1 billion, so definitely. So even though it's a decent film, I think you got to give some credit to the fact that it brought in audiences and things like that, and the scroll introducing the scrolls was cool like that. Um, so 34, I'm fine with that. The Marvels, a lot of people don't like the Marvels. I actually decently like the Marvels, but that's only because of Kamala Khan. I think Kamala Khan was the highlight of that movie. Like she just is, and I'm sure it may be next. Let me see. It is okay. Um, this should probably be in the 40s. This should not be like ranked 33rd. This should be probably like in the like 40 to 44 range. It should not be this high up. It's like I could be okay with it being up a little, maybe in the this maybe like 39, 38. Kamala Khan is the main reason why. I think, but again, I think Brie Larson had fun in this movie. Um, she should have had more fun in this movie. Miss Marvel for me is a top is definitely a top 30. I don't know if it's top 25 MCU project. They the actress who plays Kamala Khan has been really the only bright spot of the MCU post Endgame, post the Infinity Saga. She's definitely a comic book nerd. She's been fun, and I think a lot of people like her because she hasn't said or done anything like outlandish or something stupid that causes the fan base to dislike her. I think she is generally a fun character, and I would be more than happy to see more of Kamala Khan in future projects. Now it sounded like we were maybe supposed to see her in Daredevil Born Again when they originally had like I think their 20 episode season planned, but that got cut obviously. But I can't wait to see her again because I do love Kamala Khan. Um, Ant-Man. Mm, I think that's fair. I think 31 is fair. I think 31 is fair. Ironheart, this is way too high. This is 30. Top 30? No, that's way too high. This should be probably in the 40s, to be quite honest. This movie was not good. Or not movie. This show was not good. I did a whole review, like overview of the series. It was terrible. It was not a good series. Doctor Strange, maybe this should be a little bit higher. The first Doctor Strange, me and my best friend always talk about it because like watching this movie is like being on acid because everything that's so trippy about this movie. This should be higher. This is probably a top 25 MCU project for me. Thunderbolts, too high, should be a little bit lower. The film was average. I don't know why people were trying to hype up this movie. I watched it, did a review of it. There were some parts about it I liked, um, but it definitely should have. This not top 30. Maybe top 40. I'd be okay with, but definitely not top 30. Daredevil Born again, probably top 40. I don't think it's top 30. Um, there was just some stuff about it I didn't like. They could be course correcting with season two, but season one it was just what really pissed me off with this season was like one of the things was when Matt goes to like it's the guy who robbed the store for some like cereal or something like that, and he's talking about and he's like yelling at Matt, "Hey, it's your job to get me out. I'm not doing jail or it's like you. I'm like you did a crime. You got to do the punishment." And so it's just kind of like it's just stupid. Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man actually was fun. I don't think this is a top 30 project. I could probably put it at 30. It took a while to get used to the animation and everything because what they were doing with it. Like it very much bothered my eyes for a good part of it, but um, I'm not a big fan of the black Norman Osborn. Never been a fan of that. Stupid. Harry Osborn didn't like that either. Stupid. Um, and then the other thing, other characters were fine, I guess. Multiverse of Madness. This movie gets a lot of hate. It does get a lot of hate. I definitely would probably say it's top 30, but if you wanted to say it's like maybe top within like the 30 to 40 range, I wouldn't push back on it. I wouldn't push back on it. We did get John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. Really loved that though. Um, they wasn't sure about making Wanda the villain. I thought that was a little bit too maybe unnecessary, but you know, visually it's a stunning film. Story wise, like script wise, it's not that great. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This is top 50. Ooh. This is top 15. I think this is top 15. Well, no. Let me take it back. I think it's top 20. I think the Rocket storyline makes up for some of the other parts of the film. Um, but I think it may. I would say top 25. I think you know what. I think this is fair. The more I think about it in my mind, I think this is probably fair. It's top. I think it's a top 25 film, regardless that the script's not that great either. The holiday special. I don't think I would put it top 25 because if it's a holiday special. I really liked it. I thought it was fun. Oh, Kevin Bacon stuff and things like that. I thought it was very, very fun to see. I would probably not have it in my top 25 though, because it is just a kind of like special presentation, like Werewolf by Midnight. I probably would maybe push it beyond 30. Spider-Man Far From Home. I already liked it. Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio was good. The whole visuals of Mysterio that he was doing was good. Um, Fine with it. I think it is a top 25 Marvel project. Hawkeye, probably wouldn't put this as a top 25. Maybe like from 25 to 30. It's a good series, and Haley Satfield, or is it Haley Allen now? She got married to Josh Allen, and Jeremy Renner were pretty fun in this movie. We also got Kingpin back, which a lot of people say they basically butchered Kingpin, which is fair. It's very much fair. Um, but I don't think 21 is where I would put this. Wakanda Forever. I don't think this would. I did not like Wakanda Forever. It felt like they were just trying to. They were trying to like piggyback this movie off the death of Chadwick Boseman. I don't know. It's hard to like put into words why that is. It just felt like it. I thought Namor was fine. Wasn't really a big fan of Shuri as Black Panther. Yes, I know she's Black Panther in the comics and all that stuff, but I think they should have gone the more recast route. And now, I mean, they're going to now because the MCU is basically going to reset itself. It's going to do like a soft reboot, but I would not have this in my top 25. Captain America, First Avenger. This is fair. 19. Probably a little bit low. I think First Avenger is very fun. Chris Evans is Captain America. And Marvel has done this thing where, like, when they pick out actors for certain characters, that you can see it. Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, Hemsworth as Thor, Chris Evans as Captain America, Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. Like they have done a relatively good job of picking actors and actresses who basically look like their comic book counterparts. So this is probably top 15 for me. Shang-Chi, I think this is fair. I think this is fine where it's at 18. Very fun movie. The Ten Rings look pretty cool to see in action. I mean, yeah, you had Aquafina, but I don't think she was as bad as most projects and stuff like that she's been in. I actually like Aquafina. I love Nora from Queens. Very good show. I think this is fair. Yeah, the actor needs to chill a little bit, but Deadpool and Wolverine, this is top 15 for me. Yes, I know it is. It's the story, the script, the story, all of it doesn't make sense. It's more of nostalgia bait and all that kind of stuff. I get that, but overall, I really really love it. I love seeing Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman together. So it was fun. We got so many fun cameos. Wesley Snipes as Blade. Obviously got Daphne Keene as X-23 back. Um, Channing Tatum as Gambit and everything. And it was one of those movies where you just go in and you just have fun. And I think sometimes it's okay to do that with certain movies. To just go in and just have fun with it. This is top 15, maybe top 10. I'll have to just think about when I do my rankings. This is too high. Like, this is way too high. Like, I did not care for. Now, Aubrey Plaza is great. I love her. I love her. I love her in most of everything she's in. I watched like the first two episodes, and I was just like, you know what, this is not for me. Like when they showed Catherine Hahn's butt cheeks, I was like, okay, this is not for me. This is completely unnecessary. Um, and it just sounds like the show got stupid afterwards. But obviously, people liked it, whatever. But this is too high. This is maybe like again between maybe a 30 and 40. I think I ranked that too. I think I ranked that. Avengers. See, this is top 15. Fair. That's fair. Really loved it. Spider-Man: Homecoming. I actually would probably put this in my top 10. I probably would put this in my top 10. Tom Holland Spider-Man, watching him the first time in Civil War was great. It was just great. So speaking of Civil War, this is top 5. This is a top 5 movie for me. And that is because like it has so many good elements. You obviously got the Civil War, the Human Registration Act for the most part. Baron Zemo is a very underrated MCU villain, like criminally underrated. Like I remember people talking about like seeing like, oh, it had a weak villain. No, it did not have a weak villain. You're talking about a guy. He didn't have to physically fight the Avengers. He just had to like outsmart them and make them fight themselves. And he did that. He broke up the Avengers because at this point the Avengers were a well-oiled machine. And how would that have fared differently if the Avengers were like still together when Thanos came to Earth for like the Infinity Stones and stuff like that? You know, maybe it would have been maybe a lot harder for Thanos to get the stones, honestly. But Zemo did Thanos a favor. Infinity War. Okay, that's fine. You know what? This is fine too. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Pretty fine. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. Um, Loki, is it? Oh, do they have season 1 and season 2? I wonder, or is it just? I think it maybe season 1 and season 2. Loki was fun. It was very fun. I enjoyed it. Maybe not top 10 for me. Probably like 15. Top 15 for me. I like the series. For Ragnarok, top 15 wouldn't have it. I would not have it in my top 10. It's definitely a top 15 MCU project though. Iron Man, this is fine. I'm okay with that. The one that started it all, no gripes. I would be okay. Like this is probably like top 12 for me. Again, this is the same situation with Deadpool and Wolverine where story script doesn't really make that much sense, but you just don't care. You're seeing the three live action Spider-Mans of our time. I have now grown up with all three of these Spider-Man. You see them on screen at the same time. You get William Dafoe back as Green Goblin. You get Alfred Molina back as Doc Ock. Obviously, Electro, Sandman, Lizard. But just this movie was so fun. Again, it's one of those movies where you can just sit back, just enjoy the film. This was such an experience to watch in a theater full of people. I haven't really watched X-Men '97, so I can't really say yes or no about this slot here. The Winter Soldier, that's fine. It is a top 5 MCU project for me. I agree with that. I will probably put it at number 1, but that's just me. WandaVision, it's fine. It's top 10. I don't know if I put it in my top 5, but it's definitely top 10. Guardians of the Galaxy, definitely top 10. Not in my top 5, but definitely top 10. Black Panther, probably top 15 for me, maybe like from 10 to 15. Um, and then Endgame, fair. I don't think it's be my number 1 per se, but yeah, but yeah. All right, guys, that is relatively it for the variety MCU ranking. I probably will just do my own separate video where I write like put them in tier lists and stuff like that. Um, there's some stuff I agree with. There are other stuff I don't agree with. Yeah, it's just some of it I was just like, I don't know about all that, but that's relatively it, guys. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching. If you're new to the channel, be sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Be sure you comment below. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Y'all have a good one.